I feel like I'm capable of beating anybody that the team puts in front of me. You know, money's very important, but legacy is also important as well. I feel like I can't retire without fighting Inoue, so I need to get that fight before I do retire and, of course, beat him and make the money and enjoy.
If we don't do it soon, we're probably going to miss the boat. I mean, you know, when we talked about the Inoue fight a year ago, Bam was at 115 pounds. He'd just come up from 112. You know, it looked like a bridge too far, you know, a step too far. Being at 118 and being one division away makes it much more realistic, but that was his first. You know, I know there's weight classes for a reason, but I don't think the step is too far for him at 122. But I do think it's a disadvantage for him against Naoya Inoue. I mean, it can only be when you're fighting a much bigger guy, and that's what he is. But Robert and Bam are going to have to weigh up.
He is in the upper echelon of all-time greats, and who's to say he's not still in his physical prime? And yet, when I look at Bam, I see a guy. Yeah, he might be able to do it. He's a little sharper boxer. Maybe he doesn't have quite the power. Maybe not even as explosive as Inoue. But I think he might have the sharp.
Anything besides the long limb thing that we talked about earlier, Max. At one time, I wasn't sure if I could see him beating the monster, but now I do. And this fight right here, what he's going to do to Vargas, in my opinion, this won't be the measure of that, because I just don't see him having no problems with Vargas at all.
Wait, you got to go up another weight class to fight Inoue, and Inoue has been a consistent puncher. Even though at this weight class, Inoue has not been a puncher, he's been the lower weight classes. Bam is also an actually smaller guy, so the power of Inoue, you would figure, would be something that Bam would feel if Inoue lands those big shots.
It's probably 50% of his capabilities is what you're seeing right now. And at 26 years of age, that is a frightening prospect. And that's why, when we talk about the Inoue fight, that's the gamble.
Arizona delivered a moment that has shaken the entire sport, leaving fans asking one big question. Has the fighter long regarded as the most intimidating pound-for-pound champion in the world finally found someone capable of stopping him?
Moving up, I got to tell you, Mike, Bam, to me, is the real deal, a complete fighter. I'm a sucker for southpaws, but especially southpaws with speed and technique and punching power and the attitude that he wants to apply all those gifts and acquired skills to hurt the other guy. I think Bam is going to look great, as he always does. Cop, what are you thinking?
Yeah, Max, I mean, Bam is obviously an incredible fighter. It's hard to find any one single flaw with his game, right? He has the balance, he has the jab, he has the punching power, the speed, and you have to remember, too, it's crazy to think, but he was a guy that nobody wanted to sign. He was fighting on Top Rank undercards and PBC undercards. So he also has that chip on his shoulder, too, and I think it shows in every fight because he has a killer instinct. I think the only intrigue here is, does Bam carry that power to 118 in his debut? And I expect he will, and create more hype toward a hopeful showdown with the monster.
The tension inside Desert Diamond Arena was impossible to ignore as 26-year-old Jesse "Bam" Rodriguez entered the ring for his showdown with Antonio Vargas. Stepping up to the 118-pound bantamweight division is a gamble that has derailed plenty of talented fighters, but Bam carried himself with complete confidence, determined to prove he belonged. Everything changed in the fifth round. Rodriguez made subtle adjustments to his movement, created an opening from an angle few fighters could find, and whipped in a devastating left hook with a delayed impact that dropped Vargas hard to the canvas. Although Vargas got back to his feet before the referee finished the count, it quickly became clear he was running out of answers. A little more than a minute into round 6, Rodriguez surged forward, erased the distance between them, and fired a lightning-fast right-left combination that ended the contest on the spot. With that emphatic finish, Bam Rodriguez secured world titles across 3 different weight divisions.
Everyone talk about your power, but you faced a bigger guy today, and you were touched a little bit, compared to the last few fights. So did you feel his power?
I did. He had a bit more power than I expected, but I was expecting that moving up to 118, a different weight class, more weight, bigger opponent. So I knew what I was going inside the ring, and I knew what to expect. So it was nothing out of the ordinary, but I did feel it.
Hey, Bam, congrats. Again, another division, another belt. Great performance, man. I know we're all playing matchmaker, so I'll tap the brakes on that a little bit. There was a local legend in the building today, a little guy who essentially set the stage for you guys. Michael Carbajal was here, and I talked to him, and he told me how proud he was of you. How does that feel, man, with somebody who's got a silver medal and the legacy that he's had, to say that he's here to see you and how proud he is of you to do what you're doing, not just in the industry, but specifically here in Phoenix?
Yeah, I think it's badass. I mean, Carvajal, he's a legend, especially in the smaller weight classes. He has some great fights. So the fact that he came here just to see me means a lot to me, and I'm glad that I was able to.
But the spectacular knockout only tells part of the story. Beneath the celebration, there is a concern that has many people within the boxing world paying close attention. During the early rounds, Antonio Vargas uncovered a weakness in Bam Rodriguez's defensive game that could become a serious issue against the division's biggest punchers. With disciplined timing and calculated patience, Vargas repeatedly found openings through Rodriguez's guard, connecting with solid right hands that clearly shook the newly crowned champion. Those exchanges immediately became a major talking point once the fight was over. While Vargas is widely respected for his boxing ability, he has never built his reputation on overwhelming knockout power. That is exactly why those moments stood out. If a fighter who isn't considered a devastating finisher was able to hurt Bam and interrupt his rhythm so early, it naturally raises an unsettling question. What could happen if a genuine knockout specialist lands those same shots on Rodriguez's chin?
Matters mostly. I mean, you know the money's going to be there, but I'm sure that there's a feeling that you want to win the fight. Did what happened tonight make you feel like my power will carry up and I can win that fight and secure my legacy?
I think so. I mean, I feel like I'm capable of beating anybody that the team puts in front of me. You know, money's very important, but legacy is also important as well. I feel like I can't retire without fighting Inoue, so I need to get that fight before I do retire and, of course, beat him and make the money. And
the boxing world may not have to wait long for that question to be answered, because Bam Rodriguez is already setting his sights on the toughest test available. With the cameras focused on him in the middle of the ring, DAZN's Chris Mannix asked whether he was prepared to face the undisputed super bantamweight champion, widely viewed as the division's dominant force. Rodriguez didn't pause for a moment. Looking straight into the camera, he delivered a calm but unmistakable message, making it clear that he is ready to fight anyone, at any time. His promoter, Eddie Hearn, quickly added even more fuel to the conversation. Speaking confidently to the media, Hearn insisted that this blockbuster matchup is not a matter of if, but when. He also predicted that once the two finally meet, Bam will have his hand raised, expressing complete confidence that the rising champion is capable of defeating anyone placed in front of him.
Is he ready for Inoue? First 4 rounds, maybe not, but the way he set up his power and then landed that power in the 5th and 6th round, does that convince you that he is all in for this fight?
Yeah, I mean, look, when you say first 4 rounds, I mean, I think he was getting into the fight. Well, Vargas was fantastic. And I think, again, people don't talk about how good Antonio Vargas is. He was an Olympian, great fighter, world champion. But it was just a case of going through the gears. And these guys will talk about that in a minute. But as soon as they went through the gears, it was like watching Picasso. You know, it's just pure art in there, pure ability and pure skill. And the big question was, will the power carry up to 118? I mean, that part of the question was well and truly answered tonight.
Eddie, Rafael Sanchez from Somos AC Sports. Last match in February, you said you loved the crowd. Tonight, the crowd was fantastic. Can you predict maybe another fight before the end of the year?
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, that would be 3 here for us in 2026. Obviously, Nunes, Navarrete, Bam against Vargas. But this is one of the first places that we inquire, in Phoenix, what availability it has, because it doesn't matter where the fighter's from. You guys know your boxing, and you've always come out for Bam, and we've seen the crowd continuously rise. Don't forget that he boxed here for his first world championship, and that was on a week's notice. And we probably had, 1,500, and it's gone from there up 3,000, 5,000, 7,000, over 10,000 tonight. It's like, it's been a perfect.
What makes this story even more intriguing is the confidence coming from inside Bam Rodriguez's own camp. Even after capturing titles in multiple weight classes and defeating world champions in impressive fashion, Rodriguez believes fans have witnessed less than half of what he is truly capable of inside the ring. In his view, his best performances are still ahead of him, and he sees himself as a fighter who has only begun to unlock his full potential.
Robert knows his fighters. Well, I'm like, Kev, we really don't need a light flyweight. We've got Chocolatito at the time. We were working with Estrada, Rungvisar. These guys, like, just, and it was like, look, give him a shot. And I think the first one was Fresno, and he looked really good. And then it was just on. And then, to be honest with you, like the world title, he was co-main event on that card. And he stepped up 2 divisions on a week's notice to fight Quadras, to beat him, to become world champion. So I think since then, we've done an incredible job. But originally, we were kind of, thank God, bullied into it by Robert Garcia because we believe in his eye and he knows talent. So when he tells you you've got a very, very special young fighter, we believed him, but they still took that fight. If they hadn't taken that fight at a week's notice and stepped up 2 divisions, I don't think we'd be here today. Certainly not as quickly. So it's little moments like that where you have to take the leap of faith that you believe in someone. And since then, even when he beat Quadras, we knew he was special. I didn't know he was this special. And every time, and what he said at the press conference this week was just so true. It's probably 50% of his capabilities is what you're seeing right now. And at 26 years of age, that is a frightening prospect. And that's why, when we talk about the Inoue fight, that's the gamble. We're going to get better.
According to his trainer, the respected Robert Garcia, there is already a carefully structured strategy in place to back up that confidence. Rather than pushing Bam into the biggest challenge immediately, the team has chosen a more measured approach. Their current objective is to schedule one more decisive bout at bantamweight this October, giving Rodriguez additional time to settle naturally into the higher weight class. Only after that final step do they intend to move up to 122 pounds and pursue a showdown with the feared Japanese champion.
Robert, it seems like you're the guy that's going to make the decision on this. So what do you think now that the fight is over? Is he ready for 122?
Look, the thing is that it's I don't know why is there so much back and forth, If I'm not mistaken, from what Eddie has mentioned, that sometime in late January or February the fight could happen. Well, then yes, that fight could happen that day. But why can't we get one before that? That's as simple as that. We it's not like we don't want to fight Inoue. I think Bam is good enough to go out there and possibly beat Inoue, but one more fight would be the ideal thing for me to get as a trainer. It's not like we're changing the date. We're not asking for 6 months later. The date doesn't change. I'm just asking for another fight against a solid 118-pounder sometime in September or October.
You like Medina in Saudi Arabia, right?
Look, Mexico versus the world. Medina's born in Mexico. So.
The reaction online has been anything but unanimous. Across Reddit and other boxing communities, fans are locked in an intense debate over Bam Rodriguez's rapid rise and what it should mean for his standing in the sport. Many supporters believe he deserves to be moved into the number 2 position on the pound-for-pound list, with some even arguing that his resume now warrants ranking him ahead of established champions such as Alexander Usyk. Their reasoning is simple: very few fighters in the modern era have shown the willingness to keep climbing through weight divisions, consistently take on elite opposition, and embrace the toughest challenges available without hesitation. For that group of fans, Rodriguez is already building a legacy that places him among boxing's most exceptional active fighters.
I'll be honest with you, I thought Vargas was sensational through 4 rounds. I mean, I had it very, very close. I think I had Vargas just edging the fight, and then Bam just went into second gear, and he's just so special. He's 26 years old. I think that's what people don't talk about enough. On that pound-for-pound list, all of those guys are at the back end of their career. I mean, I know Inoue's got some years to go, but obviously Crawford's just departed, Alexander Usyk. No one other than Shakur, I think he's 29 now. On the Boots, I think he's a future potential pound-for-pound number 1. He's 28 years of age. It's like 26 years old, and he thinks he's only operating at 50% of his ability.
Not everyone views the situation through the same lens. Many of boxing's most analytical observers believe the real answer lies in careful film study rather than public excitement or rankings. According to those experts, Rodriguez's technical approach may present a surprisingly difficult puzzle for Inoue to solve. In their opinion, Bam possesses a style that could prove to be one of the few genuine threats capable of disrupting the undisputed champion's usual dominance.
Inoue has cleaned out multiple weight divisions. He is in the upper echelon of all-time greats. And who's to say he's not still in his physical prime? And yet when I look at Bam, I see a guy, yeah, he might be able to do it. He's a little sharper boxer. Maybe he doesn't have quite the power. Maybe not even as explosive as Inoue, but I think he might have the sharpness to pull it off. Malik, does he?
Totally agree with you, Max. I know the direction you're coming from with that. And what you're doing, you're basically talking about, he's so technically sound and he's so compact and that much of a complete fighter. It's very hard to even see the likes of someone like the Monster just doing to him what he's done to all his other opponents. I will go on record and say when Bam fight Inoue, I would consider this Inoue's best opponent, especially as far as quality. Bam doesn't really waste energy. Bam doesn't really overreach. And I also believe that he has an incredible chin. I've seen Bam get cracked, but I've never seen him rattled. Like, you know what I mean? I've seen Bam, get cracked and come right back with shots. He just checks the box off of anything that has to do with a fighter being complete. Anything. Besides the long limb thing that we talked about earlier, Max, at one time, I wasn't sure if I could see him beating the Monster, but now I do. And this fight right here, what he's going to do to Vargas, in my opinion, this won't be the measure of that, because I just don't see him having no problems with Vargas.
Detailed film analysis has highlighted a small but potentially significant habit in Inoue's technique. After throwing a left hook, he occasionally lets his right hand drift out of its defensive position. Most opponents never capitalize on it because his exceptional speed and explosive power allow him to recover before they can react. Supporters of Rodriguez believe Bam possesses the exact skill set needed to challenge that tendency. His precise footwork, ability to create unexpected angles, and razor-sharp counterpunching could give him opportunities that few fighters have been able to find. If he can withstand Inoue's dangerous opening pressure, many analysts believe his style has the potential to catch the undisputed champion by surprise.
He has to be a little bit more hittable this time. I found him to be, obviously it didn't leave him susceptible to anything. He was never really hurt, but it does leave you thinking about things if he's going to fight Naoya Inoue. Now, one of the reasons Vargas was successful in catching Rodriguez with some shots because he was keeping his fights punches short and tight, but he also wasn't putting a lot on the shots, right? He was just putting some good snap. But then you hear Rodriguez in the post-fight interview saying, oh, he had some good snap in his punches, and I felt he had a little stronger than I thought he was. So that makes you think, because Vargas didn't look like he was putting all the effort into the power when he was throwing the shots. Is it just a bigger weight class that Rodriguez is feeling? Listen, that's possible. A lot of times, you go up to a new weight class too many times, and the punching power does start to affect you. You start to feel the punches a little bit more, even from non-punchers, And even your punching power sometimes doesn't have the same effect as you move up in weight. Obviously, we did see Rodriguez's power in the end does still have an effect even at bantamweight, but it left me a little bit worried when he said he felt some of the shots Vargas was throwing. Obviously, again, I'm not saying he was hurt. We know he wasn't hurt. What I'm saying is, if a non-puncher like Vargas is making you feel some of the shots at bantamweight, you got to go up another weight class to fight Inoue. And Inoue has been a consistent puncher. Even though at this weight class, Inoue has not been the puncher, he's been the lower weight classes. Bam is also an actually smaller guy. So the power of Inoue, you would figure, would be something that Bam would feel if Inoue lands those big shots. Now,
a theory this bold has naturally been met with plenty of doubt, along with a growing number of behind-the-scenes rumors. Across social media, some fans believe Bam Rodriguez's team may be following a far more calculated strategy than they are willing to admit. The speculation centers on an approach often described as letting a rival age out. Although Inoue has continued to dominate every opponent, reports have suggested that making weight has become increasingly difficult with each training camp. Because of that, some critics believe Robert Garcia is deliberately stretching out the timetable. According to that line of thinking, scheduling another fight before pursuing Inoue gives them the best chance of meeting him at the exact point when the physical demands of repeated weight cuts begin to take a toll. From this perspective, facing the undisputed champion immediately, while he is still performing at his absolute peak at super bantamweight, could carry the risk of a crushing knockout defeat. For those who support this theory, waiting may be the smartest move of all.
I know there's been a lot of talk about Bam and Naoya Inoue, and that was sort of the rumor mill was really brewing going into this fight with Antonio Vargas. But, people were sort of overlooking Vargas a little bit, even though he was the champion coming into the fight. big talk was about Inoue and Bam Rodriguez, as in some ways is understandable. I mean, these two guys have been on a tear. I do think Inoue has slowed down a little bit the last couple of fights without having gotten the knockouts. There is the possibility that maybe age catches up to him a little bit. At these lower weight classes, 33 can be a little bit older, and Inoue is 33 years old. So, it's possible that the time and the moment to discuss the Inoue fight for Bam and move up to fight him, you got to catch somebody at the right time. And maybe Bam's team had been noticing that Inoue might be there for the taking, just maybe, even though Inoue is coming off maybe the biggest name win of his career when in beating.
The smallest weight classes have firmly stepped into the spotlight. What once flew under the radar has become the setting for what could be boxing's biggest showdown of the decade. Two elite champions are steadily moving toward each other, fueled by legacy, confidence, and the desire to prove they are the very best. Whether Bam Rodriguez is the rare talent capable of reaching the highest level the sport has to offer, or an ambitious young champion preparing to test himself against an all-time great, is a question only the ring can answer. One thing, however, feels undeniable: if this fight becomes reality, it has the potential to leave a lasting mark on boxing history. Now it's your turn. Who should Bam Rodriguez face next? Do you think the time has come for him to step in against the division's biggest star? And if that matchup happens, who do you believe comes out on top? Share your predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest boxing news, fight breakdowns, training highlights, and unforgettable knockout moments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.